Hey out there in YouTube land, this is Full Throttle Kind of Guy checking in. Hopefully everybody's had a wonderful day, a mellow day, a nice enjoyable Sunday. Update on the Nova project. Told you about the big block and Oregon weather permitting, things are going to happen. Well, what happened? It's kind of hard to say, but stick around and you'll see the summary. Okay, if you've been following my page any time now, you've been knowing that I've got the Galaxy, but I've also got a Nova we've been working on. So the Nova, I picked it up originally, had a 307 in it. Great A to B car, but again, wasn't too exciting. So a car of that caliber, figured, let me step up the game on it. Went with the 355. It was all right. Again, in my heart, I always wanted a big block. I used to have a 78 Z28 with a 454 ST10 and a Z, again a Z, great car, fast car, and it really surprised a lot of people. So I, in my mind, always wanted to go back to a big block. So a couple of things kind of happened along the way. I started stockpiling parts like I normally do. So scored the big block and parts, hit a couple of swap meets, got some killer deals, and I want to help you see what the facts are. So if you are considering going from a small block to a big block and your Nova, and this is the 73 and up Novas, 72 and prior, I think the 68, they use a different style motor mount configuration that are based on towers. While on my 73, as well as the older models, and this also goes for the F bodies, the Nova is considered an X body, and Nova being part of the General Motors project, which Nova stands for the Nova, Omega, Ventura, and also the Apollo. So every brand had their own little niche to try to fill. Having said that, with my Nova, let me just show you what some of the facts are. Motor mounts, what did I use? Well, first, I still stayed with the clamshells. Did get the polyurethane fillers. A buddy of mine helped get the motor marks apart. They were just held together by a big rivet. Inserted the new biscuits. Money well spent. It's going to be about 70 bucks or so to whatever online vendor you want to use. But shop around, you'll find them out there cheap. I used the small block clamshells. Sometimes people will say, oh, you need a different mount, this, that, and the other thing. The facts of the matter are, I use the clamshells, and I'll show you that in just a second. And now, one thing to consider with X bodies, not all X bodies are alike. And what I mean by that is sometimes you'll get a car that has power steering, power brakes, other nice amenities like that. My car, for what it was pretty much a stripper. Didn't have a whole lot of items on it, but it did, of all things, come with power steering, power brakes. I have disc brakes, so I'm already several steps ahead of the game. So one thing to consider is, what do you do about your booster? So with your brake booster, you've got two routes to go. Commonly, people will go to a smaller brake booster or eliminate the brake booster completely so that they can clear the big block Chevy valve covers. I went a different route. I got from the Chevrolet parts book the old style scalloped vet valve covers, and it has a scalloped relief in the rear, and it clears the brake booster so you don't have to change it. So I still have the original factory unit. I've got a GM style kind of retro looking valve cover. I'll just have to sacrifice the Moroso valve covers. The valve covers don't make the car go any faster. So at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. But again, for practicality, I did that. So to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like. So again, here's the valve cover. And again, this is the vet style valve cover. So when you look towards the rear corner, it's scalloped back there where it's designed to clear the booster, and you can just install it once you get it in place. And again, here's the old factory booster setup. So there's that. So facts. Again, you don't want to change your booster, plan on getting that scalloped valve cover. Online through the auction sites, I think I got this pair for 55 bucks. Again, money well spent. When I talk about going to swap meets and that, I did find the headers, literally brand new, 80 bucks. And these headers normally retail for anywhere from $349 for the non-thermal coated to all the way up to $600, $650. They do have to be clearanced. That is a fact if you want to clear your power steering box. So I did do a little bit of a shuffle with my buddy and massaged it with ball beans and some hammers and whatnot in the old school. Think about it, in the 70s, or excuse me, 60s, 70s, and 80s, you can get the parts, but it required some fabrication. Same thing applies here. If you can find a true set of bolt-on headers, no modification in that, Lord love you, this is not that. But again, for 80 bucks, best $80 ever spent. And again, it's a name brand, it's a hooker header. So, going back to the clamshells, and I'll try to get a good shot of that. There's the factory style clamshell. Now forgive me for having it clocked out. I'll post a picture of that as well. But that fit with the factory style units, and honestly, how weird is that a 73 looks as if it could have come with a big block? So there you have it. Looking at the Moroso valve cover, you'll kind of see the difference in height. So there you go. I mean, you can see right there, it's almost, you know, maybe an inch and a half taller where it wouldn't clear. So again, if you're going to be doing that in your budget, save yourself some time, aggravation, and worst comes to worst, I'll just save this for a future project, or I'll just sell it and then try to recoup money on my valve covers. As you can see, the fuel pump clears beautifully. Again, there goes your factory style clamshell mount being used. The other clearance with the hooker headers. And where the firewall is going to go for the big block Chevy setup, so I can still have a heater and whatnot. But everything clears and it looks as if it was factory. So nice, clean job, nothing butchered. Something that's going to have, you know, reliability for potentially, you know, years to come, you know, barring any future upgrades. The small block power steering pump and bracket, it's the same bracket. So that's one less thing to search. When it comes towards bracketry, I went for the long style water pump assembly, and we'll be getting that put on a little bit later. It's late here in the evening, it's starting to get a little bit on the brisk side, so I'm going to call it a day. But if you haven't seen anybody bolt on a water pump before, it's pretty much a straight laced operation. I've got the right pulleys to line up, and then of course I'm going to go for the long style alternator and bracket assembly. I've already got all those parts together. I think for my brackets and pulleys, I was only in it for like $100, which is a hell of a value. And again, thanks to the swap meets and, you know, working Facebook Marketplace. So it's something that can be done. So between selling my old engine and getting the parts necessary to put the big block in, I'm only out of pocket, believe it or not, $250, maybe $3 at the most. So if you shop smart, you wheel and deal, you can make these things happen and not, blast your, your budget and put you in the poorhouse. So I'll talk about that in a later point in time. Is, what do you do when you're trying to get money together for your next project? You don't fall down the, the well on it, and you wind up in limbo, and you end up selling a project that's just been completely decimated. So just some things to kind of think about. But again, here's proof. 73. It's got a big block, and it looks like it's been straight from the factory. So I think it's pretty cool myself. But, different strokes for different folks. But if you have any questions, comments, please hit me up. I'll be more than happy to kind of respond, give you whatever insight I can. But first and foremost, again, I would like to also say, thank you for taking your time out of your day, to watch my content and help me learn and help me grow. So, if you like what I got going on, please hit the like button, subscribe, ring the little bell, and we'll see where this kind of leads us from here. I know that tracks should be opening, soon, and here we are in January, and April's just a stone's throw away. So, looks like I'll have a big black Nova ready for the 8th mile. So let's see how that all goes down. So I'll keep you guys posted. Again, have a great day, wonderful weekend. Y'all stay safe and appreciate your time. Thanks again. Full throttle kind of guy. Checking out.